Don't even think of starting the new year without setting personal goals. You need to quantify these goals to become financial goals. If you want to jackpot, how much is it going to cost you? If you want to enroll in a course or whatever, how much is it going to cost you? I know the situation whereby your annual income is 5 million, but your goals is about 4 million or 10 million. How are you going to navigate that? Hi guys, welcome to the final episode of Money Chat with Hafsat for 2024. I can't believe we're doing this already. Wasn't it just a few months back I did the one for 2023? And then now it's 2024 ending. Oh my goodness. Anyways, today's episode is going to be very interesting because I'm yet to do an end of year financial review. I'm going to be telling you all of the things that I spent my money on this year. I'm going to be posting the question back to you because you need to do a end of year financial review. And then finally, we're going to be talking about how to set smart financial goals for the new year. So guys, so much happened this year, especially as regard to Money Chat with Hafsat. I did so much and I am really proud of that. Like I made a lot of videos. I had 2 bootcamp cohorts. One was free, the second one was paid. I created templates. I did a lot of collaborations, LinkedIn audio events, newsletters. Oh my goodness, we got our first feature, podcast feature. I had a brand collaboration with I Invest, and then I was even featured on my school magazine. Oh my goodness, I want my clap. Send me my flowers. Anyways, Money Chat with Hafsat did a lot this year, but then we did not show up on YouTube as much as I wanted to. My apologies. But part of the reason is the fact that, I'm in a new country, and then the people I would love to interview, the people I would love to bring on Money Chat with Hafsat are in Lagos, Kano, Port Harcourt. They are not here. Yeah, I'm more of students, but I interact with both students and early career professionals. So you get, but that's part of the reason why I've tried to bridge this gap by doing LinkedIn newsletters. But even that, I've not been so consistent with that. But like I said, forgive me because I've tried to still connect with you guys through my other channels, and we've done so well with that. In fact, this video today, I actually wanted it to be a webinar, but then I spoke to Money Chat with Hafsat's immediate family members. So I have a group chat with about 250 people. Anyone can access it. I'm going to drop the link, by the way. So on the group chat, most of them voted that I make a video because they might not be able to join the webinar. So I'm making this video so that everybody can watch this and plan their finances against 2024. So if you're here, please subscribe to this channel. I would love to end 2024 with at least 500 subscribers. So please subscribe to this channel. Make sure you like this video, and please, I beg you, drop a comment. If you've interacted with any video that I've uploaded this year, any of my content, anything that I have done, webinars, whatever, any of my content, if you found them helpful, please drop a comment at the end of this video. So make sure you drop a comment. I'll be waiting for that, right? So let's get started. So what are we doing today? Like I mentioned earlier, we're going to be looking at 3 things. So first of all, I'll give you a review of my spending this year, like a 12-month summary. And then I'm going to provide you with some questions that you can use to conduct your own financial review. Like once you answer this question, hopefully we'll know whether you feel better about your spending this year or there is room for improvement. And then thirdly, I'm going to be talking about how you can set smart financial goals against 2025. So to me, anyways, so October, I moved to Morocco for my master's program. And I swear to God, October, November, December, I wasn't really tracking my finances because I was just trying to settle in, add some things I wanted to pay. I was supposed to so I wasn't really using my budget trackers at that point, but I kind of like repopulated it after I catched up after 2 months thereabout. So I included it in my budget template, right? But from January, I can tell you I was uploading every month. I create my budget as usual. I update it as often as possible. So you're going to see a glimpse of it. I literally do this every month. Yes, I did every month. It doesn't take too much time. I found a way around it. For instance, I budget my income at the end of the month before the money comes in. And then once the money comes in, I sort out immediate expenses so that at the end of the day, it's just transportation that is left with me and few. In fact, I don't even use transportation all the time. So I just make sure it's money that I need for going to the store to get few items, groceries that I have. And later, I make sure I always like remove money from my student account and save it in my regular bank account that is outside the campus, right? So no much information. It's not something I have to be updating every day, more like twice in a month, 3 times in a month, depending. And I'm comfortable with doing that. So this end of year but breakdown that you're seeing right now on my screen is actually 12 months worth. And you can see all of the categories. You can see what I spent my money on. Like as of right now, I can tell you that it is about 90% accurate. 90%, I can assure you that. So I was literally going through my records. So in fact, I did a summary. And so during the first few months, what I was doing with my money was I was saving that money. I was saving it because I had two major goals for this year, two goals that will require money. And based on my calculation, I knew that, okay, if I save this percentage every month, I'll be able to achieve that. So I wanted to write two professional examinations. You've probably seen that on my LinkedIn. I posted it. So I wanted to write my CFA level 1 examination, and I wanted to write my advanced financial modeling examination. I've always wanted to be a financial modeler. I've been dragging, but I said this year I will write the professional examination. And I did that. Thank you. So how did that happen was because I was saving my money towards it. Now, on its own, it's actually above what my stipend can contain. But I knew that, okay, if I should apply for these scholarships, if I should put in a very strong application, there was some discounts that I was targeting. And I was like, if I get those discounts, this is my own equity contribution, and I will write those examinations. So those were the major things I was saving towards. So as at January to like April, I was saving before I finally made those payments. But a breakdown of what I spent my money on. So education is the highest, actually, 38%. So now this education, like I said, is the two exams that I wrote. They actually cost me so much. I even had to travel to go and write one of the examinations. It was very demanding, 38%. The next one is feeding. I'm actually looking at my system because I made a summary of it, but I'm going to show you on my screen. So the next one is feeding. Feeding, I did 25%. I think that's fair. That's okay. I think I can do more, actually. I need to eat more. I want to go back to weighing 70. Right now, I'm about 60 something. So I want to eat more food. Good food. And the next one is personal care. So I don't know if you noticed, but I rarely use makeup. I don't use makeup again. It's stressful. It's stressful to me. Maybe when I go back to Nigeria, my sister will make sure I wear makeup. But right now, I took this 1 year and allowing my face breathe. So I've gone to skincare, and not too much actually, just my body wash, face wash, niacinamide, vitamin C, toner. Those are the basic things that I use. And it took about 8% of my income. 8%, I think. I don't know. I think it's low for all those skincare girlies. You guys will probably be doing 15% or whatever. But I did 8%. It's with toiletries and the like. So it's not just skincare, it's personal bath, personal care, and even health care. So there's few occasions where I had to go to the hospital, where I was sick, medication, and that was like where I used the money from, right? Then the next one on my list is clothing. So clothing is 13%. I feel it's very low, actually. I feel like it's low. I didn't really purchase as much clothes as I would have wanted to. But the bulk happened during the first few months when I came here, because I had to get cardigan and other clothes for the weather, right? And then I think during my birthday, I got some, and during Eid, I got. So I don't really buy clothes every time. That's not my priority right now, to be very honest. As far as I'm looking good, I'm looking peng, we're good, right? So it's kind of like occasional, maybe once in 3 months, once in 6 months, or when I have an occasion that I do that. So it was just 13%, but I want to get it about maybe 15. Yes, but I think 13% is okay. The next one is Entertainment, that's personal spending. You can say I didn't really entertain myself. I didn't really go out as much as I wanted to. This year, I don't really think it's something, it's a bit outside my budget right now. I did one or two few budget friendly outings. For instance, I went to Burna Boy concert and then I went out with my friend. I actually planned to do a vacation, but I couldn't. I had to forfeit it because of my education, right? So that was priority. So my entertainment is 5%. Subscription took 5% too. Now, I don't do subscription like mobile phone subscription. We have Wi-Fi. I only buy data occasionally. It's not much. But also, there are some like registration costs that I incurred. For instance, my residence card, this one, that one. So stuff like that. So I added it under my subscription, right? Because I subscribe for my residence card. So it totaled to about 5%. And then the next one is gifts and donation. Don't laugh. Actually, it's family. I sent home money home, very little. But actually, this is just the dirham equivalent in because I don't like to convert too much. It doesn't really, I don't want all of those that. So just 5%, right? So other time that I spent money or sent money on was from my Naira account. I still get few Naira. You know, your money woman now will find a way to get money, right? So I get some Naira denominated transactions and I use that to settle some of my housing, home expenses. So basically, gifts and donation, or let me just say money that I sent home to my siblings, maybe mom and dad, is about 5%. And the lowest on my list is 2% is transportation. Yeah, transportation is the lowest cost. It's only when I go to the market or when I went to Casa, a few occasions, not much, just total to about 2%. So this is literally the review, the breakdown of how I spent my money. You can see it on the screen. 38% education, 25% on feeding, 8% personal care, 5% on subscription, entertainment, and gifts and donation, clothing 13%, and transportation 2%. So this is it. I'm sure you're looking at it and you're like, okay, what of investment? What of this? What of that one? So we all have different phases that we are in our life. And right now, my priority is to increase my earning capacity. And I achieve that by becoming more qualified, more certified. I'm in the finance space. If you want to get a very good paying job, you need to at least have your ICANN, start your CFA. So I start by investing in myself before my employer even comes to like support that, to show you that I'm not joking with my education, right? So these are like my priority that this year, and those were where I went for, not maybe buying of stock or investing in real estate and all of those things. They are not really my priority right now. I want to take it at my own pace. So, but for you, for instance, maybe you've started investing. You want to ask, did you invest as much as you want into those kind of assets? But for me right now, my number one investment is education, and that was what I did. And I'm okay. In fact, you can see that it took the bulk of my income. So I'm satisfied with that. But for you, you want to ask yourself now, your loan that you had outstanding, did you pay it off? Have you repaid it? Even I too had few loan at the start of the year when I left Nigeria to here, but I cleared it with my Naira that I had. When they paid me my final salary, I used it to clear that, right? So have you paid off your loan, or do you still have loan? That is one thing you want to look at. Another one is, like I said, your investment. Did you invest as much as you want to? Or savings, did you save as much as you want to? I'm sure a lot of us say, I'm going to save this year. Did you do it? Did you do it? Like me, I said that I was very religious at it. I was saving every month. And right now, I don't even have much savings because like I said, my those courses took everything. I'm just starting on a new page, on a fresh page, right? In fact, another thing I did not mention in my expenses was I got some gadgets for content creation. I had to like change my mic. I got an extra tripod and all of that. It was also part of I think I added it to my subscriptions. That was where I kind of like added it. I can break it below that, but I just put it there, right? So you want to look at your the things that you did this year, especially your goal sheet, for instance. Go over your goal sheet. What were the things that you said you wanted to achieve? Did you achieve it? Did you not achieve it? And then start asking questions like, okay, what happened? Why were you not able to achieve it? Now, I'll give you an example. So, one thing happened this year. In fact, that reminds me, my budget is 11 months, not 12 months. The income was for 11 months because there was a month that I did not receive stipend and I did not know it was going to happen, and it really dealt with me. So it was I think September, yes. So we did not get stipend because it was off school period, although we got accommodation and all of that, but we were anticipating the money did not come. They did not pay us money that period. And I did not anticipate it. I did my budget thinking that money was going to come. The money did not come. What I now had to do was I had to rely on a friend. I had to reach out to one of my friends to get to borrow money in their arms. And then when we finally got paid in October, and then cleared it. And by then I even wanted to celebrate my birthday. I had to forfeit it because the money did not come, right? But what also helped me was I had a safety net. Although my safety net was in Naira, I had few like Naira savings that I had. But because I knew I had that money and I knew worst case scenario, I can convert it. So it was easier for me to just reach out to my friend and borrow money in Moroccan dirhams and pay him back. So I had to take out of my emergency fund. So that's why if you ask me on a scale of 10, how was my financial this year, I would say it's about 9%. I did well. I was very in control of my finances regardless. And I had a safety net that I fall back on. So you now, were there situations like this? How did you cater to it? How did you resolve it? Were you able to resolve it? So these are like questions and points for reflection. You want to go over your finances and things that you had to incur this year. Were there situation whereby there was an emergency and you were able to, or you were not able to? So when you go over how you spent your money, the goals you achieved, what you did not achieve, then you will know whether you did well or there is area for improvement. For instance, during my boot camp, I had a participant that had problem with loan. But as of right now, she has been able to clear it. She became more deliberate. Immediately we started talking about the finances, she sees that, okay, if she wants to clear this thing before December, then she needs to increase the rate at which she was paying off that loan, right? So what changes did you make? Even this year, a lot of us had to let go of some of our cravings. I remember I had a webinar and one of my colleagues was like, she had to stop buying shoes. Some of the things she liked to indulge in, she had to forfeit it because of, so that she can attend to other goals that she had on her list. So ask yourself right now, what were some things that you had to forfeit? Did you forfeit anything, or did you maintain the same lifestyle? Even right now that is 30 December, are you going to go and splurge your December salary despite the fact that you had some goals that you did not achieve? Or some of these goals that you did not achieve, is it because they were not realistic in the first place? So these are kind of questions that you want to ask yourself. So I want you to do an end of year financial review. How much do you have in savings? Ask yourself that and answer it. How much debt do you have outstanding? Which of your goals did you achieve? Which of your goals did you not achieve? And then finally, how much investments do you have? Also, maybe for some people like me that wanted to increase their income, were you able to achieve it? Because me, I did. For instance, towards November, we monetized Money Chat with Hafsat, and I did. So that was one of my goals, right? And I make sure I was able to do that. So right now, we are going to be moving to the third part of today's episode, where I talk about setting smart financial goals. So now let's talk about setting smart financial goals. I'm sure you know the concept of SMART: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time bound. Now I want to talk to you about how it's applicable to your finances. So at the start of year, most of us will set goals. Oh, I want to travel. Oh, I want to jackpot. Oh, I want to get married. Oh, I want to pay for this course. We write about 10 things on the list. But most of those things can be quantified. Like, because for instance, like me this year, I said I wanted to learn how to swim. If it was in Nigeria, I'll probably pay for swimming classes. But here, it did not cost me money. I want to grow Money Chat with Hafsat. It cost me money. I paid for one or two ad. I bought some gadget and all of that. It cost me money. I am meant to what? Quantify it. You want to travel abroad. How much is it going to cost you? How much is it going to cost for visa, for getting your WAEC and every document ready and legalized and all of that? How much is it going to cost you? You want to enroll for a course. How much is it going to cost you? Because when you quantify all of these things into numbers, that is when you will now know in reality if it is realistic, if it is achievable, and even the timing you put, if it is real, if it is feasible for you. But most times we set goals, and that's why at the end of the year we don't achieve those goals, because in number one, those goals are not realistic. Those goals are not within our means. So let me give a little backstory. So as of 2 years ago, 2023, when I moved to 2022, when I moved to Lagos from Kano State, I got to Lagos and I was like, God, the cost of living here is very high. And I need to be very prudent with my finances if I don't want them to send me back home, right? So I started tracking my finances. Everything I spend my money on, I was tracking it. So when it's entered 2023, in fact, not even 2023, as at October 2022, when I moved into my new apartment, I started preparing budgets. Every month, I'll budget my income and plan how I will spend it. So when we now entered 2023, what I did was I did an annual projection. So the expected income, I was working, I knew I was going to be in sterling for at least 1 year, that period. So I know how much I was receiving every month, let's say 250,000. So I made a 12-month worth budget. I was putting my income for each month, and then I was also putting my expenses and the goals that I want to achieve. So I did a 12-month plan, and then I started tweaking the numbers so that I make sure that all of the goals that I want to achieve, everything I wanted to do, can fit into my income, right? So for instance, like I said earlier, you cannot be earning 5 million and want to pay for a course that is worth 3 million. How is that feasible? Because that's more than 50% of your income. You have not taken into account transportation. You have not taken into account feeding or personal expenses and all of that. So it's unrealistic. So when you set goals for yourself, quantify it, convert it into financial goals, sum the figure and see, is it feasible? Is it achievable? So that you can go with. So there's one thing again people like to do is you set aspirational goals. It is okay, it is fine, but don't count your cheek before it arch. One thing you want to do is be prudent here. Set goals based on your current income. Then you can keep some, maybe 1 or 2 extra goals, and keep them at the back and be like, okay, if I'm able to increase my income, then I will also achieve these goals. But if you want to plan your 2025 finances, it should be based on your permanent income, what you are receiving now, not a temporary income or an unplanned income and stuff like that. So I don't do that. So what I do is I plan my finances and I set goals that will fit into it. For instance, now the 2 courses I want to do, they fit into my income. I can afford to do that. Worst case scenario, if I did not get the scholarship, then it means I will forfeit one and do the other one. And I know that, okay, the reason it did not happen is because there was no scholarship. So if you want to set your goals, if your income is 500,000, make sure your rent and the other goals does not exceed maybe 3 million. And then 2 million will be for your feeding and for your transportation. It has to be smart. So let me even break this down further. So at the beginning of the year, one thing we always do is we'll be like, I want to save more money, or I want to invest in my business. Don't just say that. Say, I want to save 1 million naira by December. This is more specific. This is more measurable. This is more time bound, right? Because that was exactly what I did last year. And I used the money to travel to Morocco. So you can do the same thing. So make it measurable, time bound. Now, about measurable now and realistic. You say you want to save 1 million by December. Now, a way to achieve it is probably by doing, let's say, 80,000 naira every month. Now, you that your income is 250,000, are you sure you can save 80,000 every month? Is it too much or is it too small? Now, that is where realistic comes in. Because for somebody that's earning 250,000, 80,000 might be okay for you, but somebody else might not be able to save up to 80,000. Or maybe your income is 100,000 and you want to be saving 80,000 every month. It is not realistic. It is not achievable. So scrap that out and make it something that is more realistic. Maybe, for instance, 40,000 or 50,000 out of 100,000 monthly. Now that makes sense, right? So you need to, when you translate your goals and put numbers, you'll not be able to know if it is realistic or if it is not realistic for you. Another thing about setting goals is it should be in line with where you're going to. So this year, I know someone that has been talking about traveling out the country. I want to travel. I want to travel. And in my head, I'm like, okay, anything you're using your money for should be towards traveling. But to my surprise, the person kind of like got a new apartment, got gadgets, got this, got that, and all of that, did some furnishing. In fact, I know two people that did something similar. And I was like, how does that fit into your goal? You that you want to travel in 1 year time. How does that work? It doesn't make, to me, in my opinion, that doesn't really work, right? Because you want to travel abroad. So are you waiting for the scholarship to come or the admission and then you now start selling those properties? Doesn't really make sense, in my own opinion. So if you're setting goals, make them be in line or attuned to where you're going to, right? So that when you need the money, you have that money. Also, don't go and maybe you need your money in 5 months' time and you now go and put it into an investment that will materialize in 9 months' time. It doesn't really make any sense. Because when you need that money, you cannot access it. It means you have to go and start borrowing money from people to fund it. So make sure there is no mismatch when you're also saving your money or investing your money. So please, all the goals that you want to achieve next year, quantify it and see if it fits into your salary or not. Yes. So if it doesn't fit, you know that you have to reduce the list from now. So when it comes to setting goals, it's not about setting 10 goals. It's about setting 3 goals or 4 goals and achieving them. Not setting 10 goals and only achieving 1. It doesn't make sense. It's your goals. It's for you. You are not accountable to anybody. So make it realistic, because that's part of the issues we have. At the end of the year, you start going over your finances, you realize that all of the things you want to achieve, you barely achieve them. It's because they were unrealistic in the first place. You also did not take into account inflation and all of that. So me, for instance, for the past 2 years, I quantify my goals, I translate them into financial goals, and I achieve them. Yes, because I know they do pass myself and they do within my budget. And then I will have 1 or 2 extra goals that I can achieve if my income increases. For instance, money chat with Hafsat, right? So I wanted to monetize and I've finally been able to start monetizing. And now what am I using the money for? I'm using the money to register a business, right? To get my business name, to do some branding and all of that. It wasn't in the plan, but because we monetize, now I'm going to use the money to achieve those other goals. And also, there are some 1 or 2 goals that I know cannot enter this year, and I've delayed it into next year. For instance, I have to forfeit my vacation. Immediately I saw that it is not possible, I have transferred till next year. We achieve it. Like, like the terminology now, oble delayed is not oble denied. That is it, right? So please make sure you convert your goals into financial goals. Make sure they are specific. I want to save 500,000 to enroll in this course or to write my IELTS, and I want to save it by June. I want to pay off my debt by March. I want to save towards rent by December. Those are the kind of goals you want to achieve, and make sure the amount, the total of those amounts fits into your salary. Your goals should not be 10 million and your income is like 5 million. No, let's be realistic. So even if those goals, you're not trying to use your income to achieve it, indicate it there. Oh, I want to achieve this goal by getting grant, or I want to achieve this goal by securing a scholarship or whatever. So if it happens or it doesn't happen, you already know that, okay, it was outside your control. So if you want to achieve goals, make sure it is within your control. Make sure it fits into your income for that period. So at this point, I'm sure you're wondering what's next. I've given you tasks to do. I want you to set your goals and quantify them into financial goals. Also, I would love to do this with you. So like I mentioned earlier, I did a boot camp in November and my participants have graduated. However, I recorded the sessions, 5 master classes. I recorded everything and I'm going to be releasing it out for sale. Yes. So for 50% the original amount, so the boot camp was for 30,000. I'm sure you saw the advert, but for 15,000, you have access to the recording. You have access to my digital budget and 2 review sessions with me. So if you want me to work with you, I will recommend you to purchase this recorded bootcamp sessions. Why? Because I'm not going to be hosting another bootcamp till like April next year. So you don't want to wait till April before you start taking control over your finances. But with 15,000 Naira, you can access the recordings for the last bootcamp. You can also get the digital tracker, and you can have 2 financial review sessions with me. So the way I have quantified my goals, I can work with you to also quantify your goals. So I'm going to be dropping the link in the description below, and I look forward to having a one-on-one sessions with you. So thank you so much for your support and for your engagement throughout this year. I remember 2 years ago when WhatsApp status became 18, I was like, I want at the end of the year, I want to end the year knowing that I added value to people on my timeline. So I want people to watch my status and be like, oh, I picked 1 or 2 good information from Hafsat status. And I like that with Money Chat with Hafsat, I've been able to do that. I'm here promoting financial literacy, trying to provide you with the tools and information needed to take control of your finances. You're not going to go to get to where you want to go with the same bad financial habits. And little drops truly make an ocean. I could have still been in Kanu now, collecting 100K salary and working in a sales company, but I don't want that for myself. I took every savings that I have. I got a job. I went to Lagos. 1 year later, I'm in Morocco, and I am so eager to see the next phase of my life, and I believe it's going to be very beautiful. So these things aren't going to happen if you don't put in the work. So please manage your finances, take control of your finances, save, invest, and keep engaging with my content. So I'm also going to be dropping a survey form in the next few days. So please fill the survey form. I want to know, I want to hear your feedback. I want to know what kind of content you like me to put out next year. I want to know which of my content you engage the most with and your expectations from me, right? So that I can make sure that every single thing I bring out, you can relate with them, they resonate with you. So thank you so much for the love, for the engagement, for showing up, for finding value in what I do, and for your support. Please make sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel. We are getting to 500. Subscribe to this channel and drop a comment. Thank you so much, and Happy New Year.